speed tech. This is what we're doing right now. Short, focused, to the point. We have 7 companies introducing their tech for creatives. And this is absolutely international. The first 4 companies are presenting themselves as part of an ideation workshop they did with their technologies yesterday. This workshop was organized by Erwin Schmidt from Propeller Film Tech Hub and Susanne Schmidt from Creative Desk Europe, Berlin-Brandenburg, together with the Creative Desk Network from Denmark, Belgium, France, Norway, the Czech Republic, and Estonia. In addition, the Digital Production Partnership and Deb Ray will present a short version of their workshops tomorrow. And we have again Andy Wilson on stage from Dropbox. I will guide you through this. 6 minutes for each company. And please take care for all of the ones who are presenting. I will look for the time. And I'm standing beside you when you need to come to an end. So we're starting with Merfilm from Norway. Sif Dip Vangsmo and Nora Bremer Øvrebø. I like that. It's my sister's living in Norway, so I'm trying all the time. Merfilm is a production and distribution company. The ambition is to develop, produce, and distribute Norwegian and international art house films by directors with a personal artistic vision. Merfilm aims to engage their audience offline in movie theaters and online through own channels throughout the entire life circle of a film. Merfilm is currently building an MVP for a platform. Thank you so much for being here.
Well, you kind of did my presentation now, so I'll elaborate a little bit more. My voice is breaking up, but I think you can understand what I say. I'm the managing director of Merfilm. Merfilm is actually one of the largest art house production film companies in Norway. We produce between 2 or 5 feature films each year, which is quite high in Norway for a small company of nearly 10 people. We also co-produce a lot with other countries in Europe and Latin America especially. 3 years ago, we also started distributing our own films. Now we will take our own films to the theater, and we also buy films on the international film market to distribute in Norway. So by taking over distribution, we got control over our products in a whole new way that almost no one has done in Norway. We could start marketing very early. We could form the concept at a much earlier stage. And that has really paid off in terms of more people see our films and we earn a lot more money. I'm going to show you a small reel so that you get an impression of what we do. As you can see, we don't do sci-fi films, but that's only yet. We are making a horror/art house film next year, and we're about to make a huge war movie based from Second World War in Norway. We are always looking to do new things. That's the thing about our company. And we focus strongly on diversity. Other cultures, other stories, filmmakers with different backgrounds, different sexual orientation. And we find if we go into these environments, we find more stories that are more real, more intense, and we really find new talent. And it really makes us more relevant in a very complex society. And relevance is also why we're here in Potsdam. We have to take control over the last phase of our films. What happens after the cinema? Right now we do production, we do the whole range, we follow the film through the theaters, and then it's just gone. It drowns in all the VOD platforms that are existing. So we lose control and we lose income. And we are thinking, how might we stay relevant after cinema? How can we sell our films in a better way after cinema? How can we extend the lives of our films? So that is the big next challenge for the company. And please make contact with us, send us a mail, visit our Instagram, follow us on Facebook, and come with some ideas if you have some. Thank you.
Thank you. So the next one is Mads Damsbo from Mokkapole, from Copenhagen in Denmark. Mokkapole is a studio for immersive content production. You can just come to the stage if you like, Miss. For immersive content production and experience with a background in traditional cinematic storytelling. The work spans across a wide spectrum of media and art forms, always rooted in the narrative and transformative experience. Their groundbreaking productions guide the audience through dynamic landscapes of film, theater, and installation art, often manifested by novel and interactive technology. This is your stage.
That was a great opening, because I read it. So thank you so much for having us here on the stage. I'm here to introduce a concept we call DOOR, a XR cinema, probably the first in the world. And for those who don't know what XR means, it's the catch-all phrase, of course, for virtual reality, augmented reality, and mixed reality, and stands for extended reality. The life we're living in now is our reality, and let's extend that, right? So I represent Mokkapole, which is a company owned by two people, me and Johan, who's sitting here on the stage or sitting here somewhere. And our main goal with introducing DOOR is that we want to claim a new universal cinematic format. What do I mean by that? Well, let's go back in time just 1 second. So in the early days of cinema wasn't what you think it was. It was actually, well, the audiovisual storytelling techniques of the day were quite immersive. The magic lantern, which was a technology invented to project light, was used to create these 3D illusions on smoke and on sheets. And with 3D sound effects all around you, you would feel like you were actually in some sort of horror experience. You can see this man on the floor here is not feeling well from that experience. So this is how it all started, and of course technology changed that with the oncoming of cinema and of the 24 frames a second. We saw these projections become what we know today as the film, the cinematic experience, where we sit, as we do now, in a cinema watching a screen. Now the thing is that that format hasn't really been innovated in 100 years, right? Literally, it's been the same. I mean, we've seen 3D come, we've seen moving seats and stuff like that. But what's the next step for disrupting the cinema? I hate that word, but I used it anyway. I'm sorry about that. So we propose this as a potential new cinematic experience. This is an installation we did last year. It's 400 square meters, fully tracked VR for up to 6 audiences at a time, walking for an hour in a cinematic experience. We've done many prototypes over the year, and the way we always think about it is that in order to create a cinematic experience with new technology, we have to remember that it has to be a collective experience. This was the first one we ever did, called the Doghouse, traveled around the world, seen by thousands of people, where 5 people at a time sit around a dinner table and experience from each perspective this very shameful dinner. We also did a project called Doom Room that's been exhibited many places, also in Berlin and in Amsterdam, where we actually also understood suddenly the effect of having live actors being part of the cinematic experience, so that you as an audience were watching a film, but suddenly something live was happening in the midst of everything. Here you see 5 audience members, or 6 actually, standing around watching a live actor in the center of everything. And then of course finally Anthropia, which is this huge endeavor. And what's important to notice here is that all the times we've opened these prototypes, we've seen audience come, we've seen audience pay ticket prices up to 40 euros, and we've had sold out every time. So we realized we were doing something right, and the press has been telling us that we're also on the right track. And of course it's really hard for me to show you what it is we're talking about. So I'll let Lars von Trier tell you what he thought it was like. Now, the location-based industry for VR is growing, and this for some of you, you might know that industry of VR and XR is growing rapidly. But if you look at the specific pink block, this is where you see our specific niche. And the interesting thing about this growth model, or this projected growth, is actually if you look at something similar like escape rooms, which has already happened, are sort of paving the way of narrative physical storytelling around the world. This is the numbers from US within the last 4 years. And the market is really, really wide, and a lot of players are on the market, but they're right now not giving us what we believe is the future, which is the strong storytelling background that filmmakers like us have. So we believe that we have to place ourselves somewhere on a high immersion level, on a high narrative quality level, and stay at a high price point. This is the cinema we know. You come in, you watch something, and then you get out. And this is the cinema we want to build. Basically, it's 3 ingredients. We put the technology in there, which we already have developed, which is basically taking from some of the best technology out there, as you can see in the exhibition space right over here, tracking and headsets that are wireless and so forth, and then designing an experience around the audience that feels as if they're going through a film, as if they're the main character. And of course, using some very simple dogmas to let audiences know that this is not just an experience you can get at home. This is something that's collective, it's together, it's interactive, it's conscious about you. And of course, it's narrative. So, in the basic blueprint for our experiences are like this. You come in, you have a pre-preparation room where you get primed for the experience. You have the actual sort of XR experience room, and then you have a reflection space. It's very simple, but it's a very effective model, which also lets us bring in more people at a time because they can come in a rotating fashion. And we're already now commissioning and pre-producing content for our cinema. These are some of the titles that we're looking at and that we have rights for. And these are some of the titles that we have in production, in pre-production right now, that are set to open in our new cinema space. And our investors are on board, so we're opening in Copenhagen next year, the first blue door in the world in September 2019. And from there, we want this to be a global chain so we can open a door everywhere. Thank you. Oh, and if someone wants, there was a video I could have shown you, but instead, if you want, I can give you a demo in this. So come up afterwards.
That's really great. Thank you so much, Mas. The next one is Marek Tušek from Prague, Czech Republic. Welcome. Thank you very much for being here. From Amalia. Amalia is a professional training program helping animation artists from the European Union to boost their skills, projects, and careers. The labs and courses they offer focus on story development and character design for TV and theatrical animation films. Their program has been recognized by the Animation Career Review among the top 20 global animation schools. Thank you for being here.
Good afternoon. Thank you for introduction. We drove 3 hours from Prague. We're in the Czech Republic, based in the Czech Republic. And back in the day, more than 10 years ago, we started out animation production studio in Prague, and we're actually facing the reality of not having enough animators, not enough artists around us. So that's still back in the day, and so we had to, or we decided to go on and nurture our own talent. So we started out master classes, and we developed the whole training program besides the production, working on commercials, short films, and currently developing our own feature film. That means we also have this training program that we run, and we've been running for 10 years. And it's about inviting industry veterans from Pixar, DreamWorks, Valve, and Disney to come into Prague and come into our program to teach, to mentor, and bring their expertise, their passion for art of animation, and their mentorship, on storytelling. So we have a story lab, which is like an incubator that a producer or art creative team can bring in their projects, and they have a mentor from the industry who can actually work with them on their story. The same or the very similar, the character design classes or workshops. They're more really hands-on programs, hands-on workshops and labs. 3D character animation, and also we just recently, last 2 years, playing with a new technology, creating or introducing VR technology, VR tools to the animation artists to create content. So how we do it. This is really hands-on training. It lasts 2 weeks. It's a full focus, really high-end and practical training for those who want to get further in their career or with their projects, to really boost their ability to become better. And we actually have this school not outside of Prague. We don't want to be distracted by the big city, so we take it out 2-hour drive from Prague, take the mentor and the participants, log them by the Renaissance Castle in, this is not a castle, but we're very nice environment, and we log them, and they work really hard, and it's not like they stop after 8 hours, and it's really working environment. It's incubator. It's not really traditional teaching. So some of the outcomes that we bring some short films like those two that animation students work on, and this is about simulating real production life in a studio, in a production. So they have the participants, like 15 participants, have opportunity to be directed by the Pixar director, and they work on animation for short films like those two, and we ended up on the cover of the 3D World, and that won some awards as well, and that was fun. And we are also trying to speed up the process. So that means, like, in this second short film, the aim was like R&D. It's like it's a mixture of it's a 2D looking CGI animation, and for example, in 15 animators, we were able to animate like 11 minutes of this short film in 2 weeks. So this is like really trying hard, new ways of production and so on. Well, this another short film that was actually the first one we tried. Such a had set up this goal, to make a short film in 2 weeks. So production-wise, it was all prepared, and shots were ready to be given to animators, and they really worked on it. And we had some game animation as well. So we brought in some NGO game to be part of curriculum actually in the process. So it really is a creative incubator. It's something between curriculum-based training, which a lot of colleges and universities offer. We actually we're open for graduates, for students who already has some experience and some skills in animation, and bringing them. The mentor becomes part of a team. That's a really big advantage for those teams and those animators, that they really it's the creating it's on site. So we don't compete with online training. So we're in a tech conference, but this is on-site training, because this mentorship and this really hands-on approach is very important, and it really is it's a big boost, to participants, much bigger than online training actually. And so it's for intermediate to advanced animation artists. It's open for anyone. So even though we're based in in our region in Czech Republic, it's open to everyone. We've been doing it for more than 10 years, and then there's also 25 people from 25 countries went through it already, and it's been very, very much fun, and it's a great networking opportunity, and really people are get pushed in their professional life. And so what's unique? I mean, I mentioned the mentors coming from from having experience with big studio life and working on a big blockbuster movies. That's a really big advantage, and they as I mentioned, they're part of a team, part of a they become a colleague, mentors, and we just figured out recently. I mean, those people come here for 2 weeks, not just for 2 or 3 day master classes. So, the need for senior level professionals. That's what we address, and also produces creative teams to ease pain with early development concept of their movies, series or feature films. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you very much. The next company is Clappy from Tallinn in Estonia. Clappy has a platform for TV channels to make their content interactive. With Clappy, you can react, comment, and send your opinions while you watch TV. The results are shown in real time on your TV screen. Clappy makes sport broadcasts, reality shows, news, and political discussions interactive, and can be used for live TV, recorded shows, web TV, and e-learning. With Clappy, the audience no longer just watches a show, but becomes part of it. And I hope I learned the name right. This is Marit Mever from Tallinn, Estonia. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, I'm Marit. I come from Tallinn. I'm a co-founder of startup Clappy. And I would like to tell you a little story how our journey become, because we are under 1-year-old company. So a little bit more than 1 year ago, me and other 2 co-founders were working at our regular jobs. And at the same time, we started to write a TV show format. We wanted this format to be interactive, engaging, and so that audience can be part of it. We started to find a technical solution that would able to implement this platform all over the world. We looked, but we didn't find any that would be easily adapted. So we started to build the solution ourselves, and founded a company, quit our jobs, and so on. So today we are already 6 months old, and now if you as an audience are watching TV show and you have opinion that you really want to tell or show on the TV screen, you just go to web page, comment or send emojis, hearts, unicorns, whatever, and you can see in real time something happening and that the host of the show gets your opinion. Clappy is a white label solution, so every TV show and broadcaster can use their own branding. Don't need to use Clappy at all. With Clappy right now you can use real-time polls to collect opinions, reactions that are similar to social media emojis, paid voting. We use simple carrier billing solution for that, and it's important for TV channels. They earn money with this solution. Comments and questions can be used to get quick feedback and more emotions. We also offer extra advertising space, and we built easy to use admin platform so that showrunner can update questions, add questions during the show themselves. They don't need our help doing that. And the pictures underneath are from our first pilot we did in May. It is Estonian TV show broadcast in our national TV, and it's a political TV show. So one example how to use Clappy was that the politicians were talking about how our government should change and were saying what they think people think, but then host could really in real time ask the opinion of real people. Of course, politicians are also real people, but the wider audience. So why we are talking about a little bit more engaging and advertising space. We see that we have a problem in TV industry. 2017 was the first year when digital advertising spend in the world exceeded TV industry. So TV channels are right now struggling to keep their audience. And also, if they have their audience, they will keep the advertising money and connections with brands. Otherwise, they won't have a budget to make quality TV shows. So at the same time, we know that more than 80% of the audience is browsing while watching TV. They no longer are only watching one screen, but at the same time, they have their laptop or mobile to do other things in the web. With Clappy, we can give this target group a reason to stay connected with the show, to talk with their friends and send comments through one space and one website. And we understand that if we give the audience a solution to participate, that they will, in case of Eurovision, it's around 30%. And weekly show, we see that average participation is 5 until 10%. But right now, not every smaller TV show has a solution to keep audience engaged, and that's where Clappy comes in. Right now, our competitors are Twitter for commenting, telcos for call-ins, and second screen apps for second screen content. So we different from them because if you use Clappy, you don't have to direct people to some other social media, but keep them on your page, and they can do and react quicker and more easier. They don't need to download any app, they don't need to log in. So if you use Clappy to engage people, it will just be easier and quicker for the audience. We have right now 3 clients in Estonia. Our target market is EU, and we would love to have Germany. It's our dream client. The channels here are our dream clients because Germans really like to watch TV. Most TV households in Germany, in Europe, are in Germany, so it's a big dream of ours. We closed our seed investment in October. So right now we're not looking for investment, but partners and clients to pilot with. 3 co-founders who started the company really want to innovate the TV industry. Right now our core team is 5 people plus 5 developers. And if you feel that you would like to engage audience in any media, then please contact us. I'm Marit from Clappy. We want to make TV more engaging. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And just to say a secret, there are some German TV broadcasters in the room. I don't need to introduce Mark Harrison again from the Digital Production Partnership. He's working on IMF massively in the UK. He's running tomorrow together with his colleague Rowan a workshop on IMF and the business benefits. And as a production manager, what I am, I'm really curious what you're doing tomorrow there, because I think that will ease our lives, especially at the end of a production, massively. This is your stage. It's on IMF. Thank you.
It has to be the politest audience in the world. So there is a massive problem in the world of global media. I think we all know what it is. Yes? Yes? It's broccoli. The problem that he's solving is broccoli. This is Riley in the Pixar movie Inside Out. Now, Riley has a problem with broccoli. She hates broccoli. But that actually is not the problem. The problem is that the world loves Pixar films. The world loves all sorts of content made from all over the world. And so, for instance, Japanese kids love Pixar films, but Japanese kids love broccoli. So the gag doesn't work. So, if you're in Japan, then Riley has to hate green bell peppers because they are the broccoli of Japan. So, what's the solution to the broccoli problem? The solution to the broccoli problem is SMPTE TSP 2121-1 2018 Interoperable Master Format Application DPP ProRes. OBS. A technical specification that was published just a couple of months ago that the DPP led, working with numerous content providers, broadcasters and suppliers, and partnering with the standards body SMPTE. And the question we'll be addressing tomorrow at 10 o'clock in our workshop is, how did such an interesting problem create such a boring solution? And of course, why it isn't boring at all. Because what IMF for broadcast and online is it's a global exchange format. And what that essentially means is it's a way of exchanging content globally that is less problematic, because this is now a gigantic market, £37 billion market for OTT, but you put that together with other forms of pay TV, £205 billion worth by 2020. And actually, when you go to video, just the video market globally is around about £800 billion. Okay, so there's plenty of demand for content, and for content in different forms. So, the ability to version content for different markets, to version obviously in different languages, but also to version for different cultural sensibilities is becoming a key part of the business models of content providers, distributors, and increasingly, if production entities want to end up making some money from the content they make, they've also got to better play that game of how they can make their content suitable for consumption all over the world and thereby make more money. Trouble is If you make 400, 500, in fact, I heard the other day of a particular commercial that's been made in, count them, 40,000 versions. If you are making content in hundreds and thousands of versions, and every single time you are making a brand new master, imagine, because that's currently what's going on. So that master, replicated all those times, takes up an enormous amount of storage, which costs a fortune. You have lots of different workflows as you're trying to create different formats for different countries. And of course, often you're doing the same thing just again and again and again. So the answer, this technical specification, which, pay attention, those of you who work in production, is the first new mastering format for decades. So you're suddenly going to find yourselves being asked to deliver in IMF. You will. And it's going to be so that the people you're delivering to can then create numerous versions of your content. So the point of it is to create operational efficiencies, to make multi-platform, multi-versioning far less complicated, to create some standardization so everybody's working in a single format, and to make the whole business of international distribution more efficient. So it ain't really boring, it's kind of crucial to how we're all going to do business, and we're all going to make money from our content in the future. And you will become very aware of it very soon, because adoption is starting to pick up quite fast amongst major providers. So join me and Rowan tomorrow at 10 o'clock for a groovy, not at all boring, and quite interactive workshop on IMF. Thank you.
So if that wasn't an ad for the workshop tomorrow, I don't know. So really, it's like, I mean, we are in a post-production site. This is really something coming up. We all know the MXF containers we are delivering to broadcasters, but be the first who understands who IMF is not that new, but it's now on the market really becoming valuable. And I think Mark is absolutely right. It will be the format of the future, and be the first one who understands that and can work with that. So there's still some seats available for tomorrow. It's starting at 10 in the morning, and it's located, of course, at a broadcaster, the one we have here, the RBB. I don't need to introduce the next one as well, Debray. He's just going into deep a bit more to his two tools he has, Agile Producer and Agile Story Writer. You will also explain it tomorrow a bit more, but for all those who cannot attend that completely filled workshop, this is for you, the next 6 minutes. Thank you.
So my name is Debray. I'm the founder and CEO of Rivet AI. We're a tech startup based out of Los Angeles, California. And the point I want to make is creativity and efficiency are often seen at odds with each other. But my argument is more efficiency leads to more creativity, and AI can help with that. So when we started this company, a couple of years ago, we looked at the whole process in content creation, and it follows a very linear process. Like, despite so much content being produced, and the speaker before me talked about the scale of, the economic scale of it, it follows a very linear process. Everything starts with a lot of the scripts, really the story. Those are just words. And then it goes through a process of green lighting, usually. Green lighting is, I like that story, let's make it. And then planning it out. So the script's almost seen as a blueprint for everything. So now you follow the blueprint, create a pre-production plan, which is just an outline of everything that needs to be done, the schedule, what gets shot, when, locations, and so on. And then principal photography happens, post-production, finally distribution. Everything starts with script breakdown. That's taking the words and turning that into its physical manifestation. This is useful in not only pre-production planning, but even the decision-making format stages. Like, can you take a 200-page script and really extract the key elements out of it? Like, does it make sense to produce it, in the green lighting decisioning stage. So that's where we used our AI to do automated script breakdowns. So we'll see that in the workshop tomorrow, where this is a process. 200-page script takes sometimes weeks. If you've done a film before, where you hand it to a line producer, a few weeks later, this comes back. We can do this in a matter of a few minutes. Give producers, writers, line producers the ability to correct a few things very quickly. Once you've got all the elements of a script by scene, then it's easy to turn that into a storyboard. So we've created these text-to-image classifiers so we can see what are some prototypical images that accompany a scene, what are the type of equipment, cameras, and so on that you might require for that. And then we can also take that further, which is take those elements and generate a sort of initial budget that you can play around with, import different templates, fix that. So you have something that took 3-4 weeks now being condensed to, less than a day or a few hours. The point of all that is to take that process, which is very linear, and make it more agile. Storytelling, content creation shouldn't be a linear process. What if we could make it more agile, like software development? So here, if we have the data available earlier on about budgets, what it would cost, you can put that in your decision-making process. Like a lot of the times, things are just decided by gut. What if you had those additional data points? So now companies or broadcasters or producers can make decisions on, do I want to produce this content? What is my ROI for producing this? What is the costs? And then for writers themselves, what if you could make that whole writing process more agile? You look at scenes. What is the impact of taking out scenes? What's the impact on budget with that? Does that affect the rest of my storyline if I do that? So all of these are data points that can go into the green lighting decision, and our eventual hope is to add some more distribution predictions, audience data, so we can even look at the impact of what scene changes mean for the audience reactions. So also what really helps with the story part of it is where we've imported a lot of our deep learning technology into the story elements, which is, you can turn a script, you can import any script and turn that into a graphical representation by scene, looking at the characters and their interactions and their sentiments. And with this, we're constructing storylines by looking at thousands, hundreds and thousands of scripts out there and trying to put some sort of predictive element behind it. So this is now available to writers, to producers to see, let's play around with different scenarios. Sometimes even while shooting a film, Murphy's Laws happens. The weather is bad, actor gets sick. So what would happen if we had to skip something? We can now change the workflow very quickly, so it doesn't throw everybody in chaos and few days are lost, millions of dollars are impacted. We can now run this through that. So underlying everything, this is a talk earlier on for those who came, underlying everything is natural language generation, natural language understanding. We have to understand language at a deeper level in order to do this. And where the market is for this is, earlier I showed some example films where we're using this technology to aid in the writing. We're using this to automate a lot of the line production work. But right now we have a SaaS model for this. So for content creators, they can utilize what we have created through APIs. And in the US, we work with some large companies that are bringing their content production in-house. So what a lot of companies are realizing is that video advertising is not that effective, so they're shifting their budgets more and more into sponsored or branded content and trying to bring that capability in-house. So in the US, we're working with several companies. In Germany, we're working with, we've just started working with Siemens. So we're seeing companies utilize our SaaS offerings to bring, first of all, take advantage of the resources that they have internally. So they're not outsourcing content creation to other folks or to agencies. And then these are the tools that they're utilizing to make the content themselves. And you can contact me with any questions up here.
Thank you so much, Deb. So finally, our exclusive sponsor, Dropbox, will introduce their services, and I'm very happy that Andy is here. We know each other for a long time. It's your stage again. Thank you so much.
Excellent. Thank you very much. So thanks for giving us the time and for you guys putting out some time to listen to what we're going to be talking about. I'm Andy Wilson. I recently joined Dropbox to lead their media area, so it's my job to make sure that we're developing the kind of services that meet with your needs. So to make sure the product supports features that work for filmmakers, for podcasters, for radio producers, for editors, for any media production professional, and to make sure that you guys get that level of service that you want. I should probably start by saying, how many of you have heard of Dropbox? Wow, okay. So this speed pitch is going to be a bit of a difficult one. You kind of all know about it. So what I thought I'd do instead is tell you a little bit about some of our customers and how they use this. And that might give you an idea of some of the features, maybe, and I'll give you a sneak preview about some of the things that are going to come. So our mission is all about your creativity, keeping your creative flow. That's a big mission for us. We want to make sure that we keep your projects moving, that you can work with your colleagues around the world. So if you're an editor, if you're a researcher, if you're a production manager, you can keep all your ideas, all your program plans, all your rushes in one place, and then share them with other colleagues. And we're passionate about making that workflow as simple as possible. So you might know us from your family photos or keeping your videos, your home videos in one place. Well, actually, we're used by hundreds of thousands of professional businesses all around the world. Businesses like Lonely Planet. Lonely Planet run their company on Dropbox. And it's that way of bringing photographers, filmmakers, professionals and creatives together. When they operate in so many different countries, they actually operate from 7 global hubs. And for them, Dropbox is the one thing that keeps their work in sync. So I thought, rather than me tell you about it, you can hear from the CEO itself. So if we can roll the video.
We really exist to inspire people to travel the world by making sure that we gather really the most trustworthy information, always on behalf of people that are traveling. My name is Daniel Houghton, and I'm the CEO of Lonely Planet. I think more than anything, creative energy is just a feeling that you have. Travel is a pretty essential part of it because if you need time and space to think, the ability to just get out of your office or your town and find some place that inspires you, it can really help you think kind of differently about whatever problem you're trying to tackle. Lonely Planet is globally known since 1973, creating guidebooks to virtually everywhere on the planet, with offices in Melbourne, Australia, in London, and then here in Nashville. All of that content that we gather around the world every year, we want people to be able to access that information on whatever platform they have, whether it's our website, magazine, books like it's always been, or in one of our mobile applications. We're always trying to look for ways that technology can help us either bring more content to people, be more efficient in the way that we do that. There's no reason for us to try to maintain our own cloud infrastructure when we can use platforms that are out there and trustworthy and secure. Without platforms like Dropbox, it's pretty painful to try to run a business in that way.
When I'm on the road, the 2 things I use the most are Google Maps and Dropbox. Getting a finished product out for Lonely Planet takes a team from cartographers to production editors to web developers. It's a massive team, actually.
Dropbox is great because it helps us create a network with our writers. It just saves us time and gets the content out to the world faster. Paper is a really cool tool. It's great for sort of imagining what the final product is going to look like. You can set out a list, you can make sure you don't miss any details, and introduce multimedia elements all at once. It's malleable, and you can use it in different ways, express ideas, and leave comments for your colleagues to interact with.
Everyone understood how it worked, knows how to use that in a team environment. As some of the tools, began to be layered on for business specifically, it just made things a whole lot easier. We would have never been able to distribute our content to people around the world without utilizing the right aspects of technology, and it allows us to employ developers all over the world, content people all over the world, and really work seamlessly because of that technology.
So that gives you an idea about how people are starting to think about their production workflows in very, very different ways, about how the tools they use can really change the way they work together. And I know that you're going to hear about lots of different products and services over the rest of today and tomorrow about really how you can change the way you think about content. So from all corners of the world, kind of Lonely Planet collaborates, but it's not just Lonely Planet, it's the BBC, it's News Corp, it's Channel 4, Turner, Hearst, and the list goes on. All these big content companies looking at how their teams can work more effectively together. And so to some of the things that we've introduced recently for media. One of them is professional media previews. And this is our aim to really reduce the complexity of work, to take out blockers. So if you've got a big media file, Peter mentioned MXF files, if you drop that into Dropbox today, we'll automatically take that file, we'll transcode it, and we'll make it so that you can preview it on any device. You don't have to download the big file, but actually you can watch a preview and you can comment on it. You can tag your colleagues, and then you can start thinking about how you can speed up those post-production workflows. Give access to people remotely, start that rushes review much faster. That's just one of the ways we're doing. We can do that for audio, we can do that for Photoshop files. We're working on all kinds of new previews, and there's more to come on that soon as well. And the good news is, you're in good company. 62% of the filmmakers at Sundance were running their films through Dropbox. I think that goes to show the level of trust that individuals in the media have in a kind of flexible tooling that's really easy to use. And I hope that for a lot of you guys today will come and have a chat with us and find out how it might be able to help your productions. Thank you very much.